Speaking of which, other Democrat candidates were having a bad week too. Abdul Said, Michigan's radical leftist darling, and their candidate for the United States Senate, was proven to be an out-and-out liar this week, when his very stupid claims that he never called for defunding the police were proven to be outright lies by people who brought the receipts to prove that he did repeatedly call for that very thing on the record. So many unforced errors. You realize that you didn't have to lie, right? You could have just said, yes, many people were supporting that idea at the time, and I've changed my mind about it, even though you clearly haven't. But you're a liar, and liars lie even when they don't have to, and even when they know that the record is out there, and it will bite them in the ass. And now you've been caught, and I can't say that I feel bad for you. In an interview with Mishmash Politics on June 23rd, 2020, an interview that was flagged by CNN, Said said, and I quote, "I believe that we do need to defund the police, insofar as defunding the police is disinvesting in the means of incarcerating someone or killing them on the streets, and investing more in the means of education and empowering, engaging communities with the means of being able to take on systemic poverty that we've allowed systematic racism to allow a fester in too many communities, rather than investing in a force of people who respond with guns and put people in jails. What if we were to take on systematic poverty by investing in the means of uprooting that poverty itself? What if we were to invest in social services? If we were to invest in public schools? What if we were to invest in public libraries? Yes, crime would go away if you defunded the police and gave that money to libraries. Genius. He went on, "I want a refund on the taxpayer dollars that I pay to police who use that to buy war material, to wage war in our streets. And I want to refund public health and public libraries and public schools. The fact of the matter is every single person winds up in jail, or worse, dead, at the hands of police officers." Yes, they do the arresting. "Has been failed by our system, either directly because of our over-policing, or indirectly because we have failed to invest in the things that uproot poverty in communities across the country." Okay, I'm going to talk slowly. Explain the crimes of political violence that are coming from the upper middle class. Are they poor? Are these white people over-policed? Nice narrative. Try harder. Someone may pretend to believe you. Said is currently running against Representative Haley Stevens in the Democrat primary to replace their outgoing Senator Gary Peters. The winner of that Democrat primary will likely go on to run against the Republican candidate Mike Rogers in the midterms. So, in order to make himself more palatable to the mainstream, Said is trying to distance himself from his past support for the very unpopular defund the police movement, of which he was a very big part. And he's lying in order to try to do that, as in distance himself. When confronted about his own false claims that he never supported defunding the police, his campaign's spokeswoman, Roxy Richner, backpedaled and told the Daily Wire that, quote, his perspective has become more nuanced. One simple word has never been enough to fully explain the reforms we need for a challenge as complex as our criminal legal system. End quote. So, allow me to translate that. He still believes in defunding the police, but he has grown nuanced enough to know that that is not enough by itself. She also noted that El Said wants police officers to come from the communities that they serve, which always works out well if the goal is to increase crime by creating a situation where cops are incentivized to let their own tribe off for whatever they do. She added that he believes in community violence intervention policies, which works out well when you have an armed madman and it's the community's job to take him down. And he supports the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act, so that cops are afraid to do their job because they might go to jail if things go wrong based on the actions of the criminal. That was basically the same thing that they told CNN after an article highlighted El Said's very consistent history of anti-police rhetoric, despite his blatant lies to the contrary. CNN noted that El Said has deleted at least a dozen different posts in which he was pushing defund the police policies, such as this one from June of 2020, just to give one example. Hey, the internet is forever, liar. I don't know why this confuses people. We've known this for a long time. Quote, most major U.S. cities spend way too much on police departments to police poverty. Yes, that is illegal here. And way too little on public schools, health departments, recreation departments, and housing to eliminate poverty. Fixing that is what the defund movement is about. He also argued during a seminar at the University of Michigan that police officers should not even be armed, after claiming that the career felon, George Floyd, was the victim of an assassination, even though no one, except the people that he had victimized during his life of crime, even knew who he was before his death, which, knowing who he was, would be required for someone to become the target of an assassination like Martin Luther King was. Nevertheless, he said, so we have to ask ourselves, do police departments really need tanks? Which ones have tanks, liar? And weapons of war? And the materials that come back as hand-me-downs from the military abroad? Are you worried that the guns have cooties? Do police really need to use guns? Yes. Next stupid question. Do we need as much of a police force? Nope, we need more. He also argued that it was the government's racist ideologies that led police to, quote, invest in war materials, meaning guns, for law enforcement. No, dude, I think that's the armed thugs that lead police to invest in guns of their own. The Washington Free Beacon went on to report that El Said was also heavily involved inside of a group called Michigan United, which compared police officers to slave catchers, and also helped to organize a protest that turned into a riot. Creme de la creme coming from the left side of the ballot these days.